For those of you who have tuned in to see the McDonald's High School All-America Basketball Slam Jam, well, hockey is taking over the network. You won't miss any of the Boston Buffalo game, which is headed for sudden death, tied 5-5. First, bonus coverage as we send it to Montreal. The Canadiens leading Quebec 3-2 in the final 2 minutes of the game. Chris Cuthbert and Dick Irvin call the action from the Forum.
I don't know how early Pierre Pagé will pull him, but don't forget they scored twice. Now, who gets to the puck first? Leclerc was very upset. They first overskate it, and Hextall doesn't touch it. He lets it go. Who gets to it first? No, the Quebec player did. Leschyshyn was the one who got in with the heel of his stick, but that was a close call, and credit to the linesman. He made the right call despite the protest from Leclerc. Remember, the Nordiques scored twice with the goalie out in game one. Hextall looks like he was almost going to touch it, but Leschyshyn just makes it.
And from the face-off, Huffman shot right on. Tom Foose gathers in the rebound ahead to Carbonneau. Guy Carbonneau flipping it around the glass. Used every bit of the glass to keep that in play. Now the Canadiens will try to keep it down in the Quebec zone. A few extra seconds clicking off the clock. Down to 1:51. And a face-off in the Quebec zone.
Now Foose winning that particular battle against Huffman in the corner of the rink, and the ruling is the puck stays in the Quebec zone. Sometimes the referee will point outside the line if the attacking player, if you will, caused the whistle to be blown. 1:51. And that's how much left on the clock for the Canadiens to even this series. And here's the main reason it is just 3-2 with 1:51.
Jacques Demers making sure Mike Keane and company are ready. Right now he's got a young line that put him on top. Belanger, Dion, and Brunet, who scored the goal early in this third period. Brunet steals. He was the goal scorer, centering it. Belanger couldn't find it. Sundin starts back. Big Matt Sundin, and it's offside at the line.
Interesting play back in the Quebec zone. Brunet had the puck. He could have killed some more time. He dumped it out in front. His teammates were covered. The Nordiques sprung free up ice, but then went offside at the Montreal line. But you're right, Chris. This young line, I don't think Canadian followers would have wagered when this series began. In a situation like this, there would be a line on the ice with 1:36 left and a one-goal game of Belanger, Brunet, and Dion. But hey, the coach goes with the hot hand, and they played a very strong game tonight. There's Hextall.
We'll watch him to see when he leaves. 1:36 to go, but Pierre Pagé with just one goal to get, not bringing Hextall out yet. Overtime has begun on Long Island. Canadians winning the faceoff. Duchesne, lead pass Kamensky. Hextall cheating out. He'll have to go back, and he falls as Kamensky. No, Hextall got up and went to the bench. Nordique still had control, so he went to the bench. An extra attacker on. Second, backhands it in. There's Lapointe centering it. Loose. Canadians clear. Kept in by Leschyshyn. And no, they're going to call it offside. Boy, that was close, but Brad Lazarowicz was right there to make the call.
And Curtis Leschyshyn does not argue the call. So he was hoping to get away with it. Pierre Pagé does, but his player, who handled the puck right at the line, just turned and skated back into position and did not argue the point at all with Brad Lazarowicz. Now here's Hextall, and he trips. And as you say, Chris, he took a look over his shoulder. He saw that his teammate had possession, so he kept going. And he is still on the bench, and there are 65 seconds remaining in regulation time. Now here's the play. The puck is at the line. The puck is out over the line.
Great call. You saw Sweet Knox on the icing, Brad Lazarowicz on the offside. Close calls, and they were both made correctly. 1:03 to go, and the net is empty. Leschyshyn, Duchesne, Sakic, Ricci, Scott Young, and Rasinski. Ricci Fires it in, but Desjardins there off the boards. They get it outside the line thanks to Mike Keane. Rucinski back in. Desjardins hammers it off the boards down the ice. Duchesne back, icing the call.
Now the Nordiques get what they want to get with 36 and a half seconds left. A face-off in the Montreal zone. All right, now they really hunker down here. Some of the Nordiques looking over toward the bench. Who's on, who isn't? Jacques Demers talking to Mike Keane. The 7 games involving these teams in the regular season were decided long before this. There wasn't a close one in the bunch. Every one of these has been tight. 2 out of the first 3 into overtime. And this one isn't decided yet. There could still be overtime at the Forum as the fans get into it.
All on their feet now. Canadians win the draw. Duchesne back with a half minute to go. Nordiques wheeling out of their zone. Sundin can't take the pass. Now Sundin blocks it. Here's Sundin deep in the zone, centering it. Kovalenko after it. Sakic against the boards. Keane looking for the loose puck. It springs free. Desjardins, empty net. Backhand. Keane can't deflect it in, but Nordiques are out of time.
All right, so we now send it to Buffalo. The Bruins and Sabres set for sudden death OT as Montreal has tied their series 2 games apiece.
Thank you very much, Jack Edwards. Tom Bees along with Jim Schoenfeld from the Odd in Buffalo. Andy Moog has to be feeling the pressure in the net for the Boston Bruins. And, of course, Dominic Hasek. Hasek took over for Grant Fuhr, who left after the first period with an injured shoulder. Those are the 2 men that have the responsibility of keeping the puck out of the net. For the Bruins, if they lose, their season is over. The Sabres are trying to sweep Boston out of the playoffs. They lead the series 3 games to none. Should Boston win, Game 5, Monday night in Boston. The final in Montreal means that the Canadiens and Quebec Nordiques are tied at 2, heading back to Le Colisée in Quebec City Monday night. Plenty of goal-scoring power on each side heading into the overtime. You heard Al Morganti saying, and I think correctly so, theorizing that all the momentum has to be with the Buffalo Sabres coming back from that 2-goal deficit in the 3rd period. Bob Sweeney carries in. And taking no chances, Andy Moog covers up. Take a look at the scoreboard. That's the final now. Montreal beating Quebec 3-2 to even the series, Jim.
Well, I thought that would be a long one. It's one of the few series I've been right on, and it looks like it's going to go the distance.
And on the island, they're in overtime. Washington and the Islanders, and of course, we'll show you and tell you about that should it come to a conclusion while we're here in Buffalo.
Yeah, they should start scheduling those games with 4 periods. It seems every time they meet, they go into overtime. But you have to think, you know, if you're looking to the future in the next round, the team that comes out of there victorious is really going to be tired facing whoever they're, well, we know who their opponent's probably going to be, the Penguins, so maybe it wouldn't matter if they were fresh or not.
Might as well have fun while you can. Face off to the right of Andy Moog. Loose one in the slot, but the Bruins knock it to the corner. Ray Bourque. Bourque tries to clear and does so. Peter Doris at center off his stick, and Ledyard rams it back in the Boston zone. Bourque goes back for it. LaFontaine takes it away in front. And Mogilny now to Ledyard in the slot. Moog never saw it. It was over the top of the net. He never reacted to that shot by Ledyard. Ledyard lofting it in again, and a whistle and an offside call. Play was offside, face off at center.
The puck went over the net. Andy Moog did not see it. He heard it hit the glass, and he was still looking behind over his left shoulder as the puck went back to the point. Ledyard had another shot.
And we played 1 minute and 10 seconds of sudden death overtime. Remember in Game 1, if you followed this series, overtime, 11 minutes and 3 seconds in. Former Bruin, now Sabre, Bob Sweeney. Maybe they didn't expect him to shoot. He did, and he scored. And then here at the Odd in Buffalo, Well, there was also overtime a couple of nights ago, and Buffalo won that one as well. Yuri Himalev scored at 105. Who will be the hero tonight for either Boston or Buffalo? Cam Neely at center. Neely trying to get around Schmelik, can't do it. Back at center, it's Himalev. Himalev still fighting for possession, dumping it into the Boston zone, where Ford has it for the Boston Bruins. Played almost 2 minutes of sudden death. Cam Neely over to Steve Leach. Leach the shot. Hasek the save, and Schmelik is there. With every shot on goal, Jim Schonfeld, the crowd hooing it on. Duras gets by Schmelik. Peter Duras the shot. Hasek the save. The rebound, and Schmelik clears it out of harm's way. What a play by Schmelik. And Hasek.
And Duras.
Yeah.
Good.
This crowd, the standing room only throng, holding their collective breath on that Boston Bruin attack.
Well, the Bruins taking it to the Sabres are not sitting back. That's the way to approach overtime, I think. You just go for it. Go for the win. Do it intelligently, but go for it.
Here comes Boston. At center ice, this is Hines. He's got Duras and Sweeney. Hines gets the pass from Don Sweeney. Can't get a shot away, and LaFontaine buries him into the boards. In front, shot, and Hasek to save. Peter Duras was robbed by Dominik Hasek.
Boy, Dominik Hasek looks terrific at the start of this overtime. He's the only reason we're still playing this hockey game. He has come up with one great save after another, and he absolutely robs Peter Duras. You're going to see LaFontaine throw a big hit here on Hines.
Oh.
McGillney skates past the puck. Now it's going to come out to the front of the net as Poulin hustles in. Now watch Duras, and a quick pad save by Dominik Hasek, and he covers up the rebound. A real nice piece of goaltending. There's the crunch again by LaFontaine. Hasek's following the puck. Watch, he's coming right over. Good concentration. And I like the fact, Tom, that he has control of the rebounds. A lot of goaltenders make that initial save. The goal is generally scored on a rebound. So he not only made the save, but he had the presence of mind and the physical ability to cover it up for a face-off. And again, the Sabres with their great face-off record in the defensive zone.
Face-off in the Buffalo Sabres zone. Randy Wood with it. Woods passes intercepted by Tim Sweeney. Picked it right out of the air, but for Buffalo, Hawerchuk saves it momentarily, but not out. Wow. Kartalov behind the Buffalo net. Wood is checking him. Randy Wood takes it away. Donato takes it away from him. Kartalov looking to center. Ledgert is on him. Every check being made. Every man being marked here. Everything, I mean everything, riding on it for the Boston Bruins as Donato is sent sprawling by Sutton at the blue line. Sabres want to lift out, but they lift it over the glass into the crowd. Let's take a breather and join Jack Edwards.
In sudden death on the island, the Isles spring Benoit Hode. He's in alone, tries to go 5-hole, but Rick Tabaracci denies him. They continue, and we do in Buffalo.
Thank you, Jack. Wonder what's going through Brian Sutter's mind right now.
Well, right now you don't think about anything except the job at hand. You're thinking of getting the right people on the ice for the situation. You still want to match up your defensive line with LaFontaine's line. You aren't thinking about this being a 3-0 series, and this is elimination. You focus solely on the job at hand.
Bodger finally controls the face-off to Yuri Himalev. Himalev tying this game up. And 11:36 to the third period. That's why we're in sudden death overtime. This is Gord Roberts carrying the puck into the Sabres zone. Roberts of Boston. Bumped off there by Schmelik. And a 4-player scrum on top of the puck. Denny Morel blows the whistle for a face-off. 16:06 remaining in the fourth period. Just a couple of nights ago in the same building at 1:05 of overtime, Dale Hawerchuk took a shot. The result was a rebound. There's the face-off. Coming back to Hawerchuk. The initial shot. The rebound comes up to Hawerchuk, and somehow it hit Yuri Himalev in front. He said he didn't even feel it, but it went off his body into the net. And that's why the Sabres are trying to eliminate Boston tonight.
And Back again, another defensive zone faceoff. There have been a lot of faceoffs in the Sabres zone from the third period on, but they've won most of them and gotten themselves out of trouble. The Bruins have to do something differently. Instead of trying to win the puck back to the point, Oates should go to his wingers and say, look, I'm going to go ahead with this draw. Beat the Sabres to the punch in the corner, then Oates could go to the front of the net, maybe a bang-bang play, you get a scoring chance. They keep trying the same thing, drawing it back, and they're continually beaten by the Sabre centers.
Shots on goal tonight. 36 for Boston, 27 for the Buffalo Sabres as I speak. Sweeney cheated a little bit on the faceoff, and he's not the first to do that. He controls it.
And once again, the Sabres win it, and they're right out of trouble. The Bruins have to capitalize if they're going to win this hockey game on offensive zone faceoffs.
Hasek with a rather routine save for Barker. Adam Oates cruising in. Oh, he stole it away. Was trying to center for Nealon. The Sabre defense cut it off, and now Hasek has to cover up.
Boy, I think that was Dave Hannon. A good read. He got his stick down, prevented that pass from coming out front. And Hasek again with a save and again with a cover-up. And you can't emphasize enough the confidence the Sabres have in their centermen winning faceoffs. They're not hesitant to ice the puck. The goaltender is certainly not hesitant to freeze it. And right there, he's doing exactly that. And you've got Poulin on the ice. And Muckler is changing up. He had LaFontaine coming. Yeah, LaFontaine's still on there. He's just changing his defensemen. Sutton and Ledger making their way to the ice. And now Alexander McGillney's coming. And Poulin is one of the Bruins who is generally very good at winning faceoffs. You've got Raymond Bourque in the left points. You know where he wants to win it. We'll see how the confrontation between Poulin and LaFontaine comes off.
Shots on goal in the overtime. 3 for Boston, 0 for the Buffalo Sabres.
Poulin mixed it up a little bit. He tried to go ahead with that one. That's good thinking, David.
Poulin trying to gain possession in the corner, but Sutton is there now for Buffalo. LaFontaine clears the center, but pays the price. David Shaw buries him. Puck goes out of play for a faceoff.
Once again, that was Don Sweeney. He and LaFontaine, and they're talking a little bit right now. They've been at each other all night long with a couple of real big hits. I don't know who got the better of that one. Sweeney's hitting low. I think LaFontaine's shoulder got into the shoulder of Sweeney coming across, but that's a pretty good collision by two excellent hockey players.
Originally I thought it was Shaw, but it was Sweeney delivering the hit. There you see it about halfway through the first overtime. You have to mention first, talking about Washington and the Islanders. They've played a 2 overtime game already in this series. 8 of the 15 Wales Conference playoff games, by the way, have gone to overtime. We've been speaking about the faceoff. Buffalo with only a 6 face-off advantage, but it seems a lot more than that late in the third period and here early in the overtime.
Where they're winning the big face-offs is in their defensive zone. That's the key draw. That's the one you have to win, and that's the one that the Sabres have been winning.
LaFontaine and Poulin. And the face-off sends the puck into the Buffalo zone again, where Keith Carney goes back for it. LaFontaine tripped up, no penalty. Gets it ahead to May. May is in loose. He shoots. He scores! First goal of the playoffs.
I'll tell you what, he's been a bumper and grinder in this series, and he's hammered Ray Bourque, and there he beats Bourque one-on-one as Raymond came across and played the puck. He's got a knock to check on the ice here. Good speed by May, a feed from LaFontaine, and he just keeps on going, keeps on driving. There's the move. A great move past Bourque, and look at how he throws Andy Moog. A little fake. Brad May scores the goal, and he wouldn't let anybody near him. He made his way around the ice here at Memorial Auditorium. He's a great young kid, Tom, and boy, this has to be the happiest moment of his professional career.
The Buffalo Sabres have eliminated the Boston Bruins in 4 straight games. 4th seed eliminating the number 1 seed. 6-5 the final. Brad May the hero. Buffalo moves on. They finally make it out of the first round. Thanks for being with us from the Odd. For Jim Schoenfeld, I'm Tom Mees. Back to Jack Edwards. Jack.
All right, Tom. It is the first time that a team which has won 50 has gone on to be swept in the first round of the playoffs. Now bonus coverage to the Isles against the Caps.
Folks that were tuning into that exciting Buffalo comeback as they defeat the Boston Bruins 6-5, sweep the series, stunningly so. And we have overtime here on the island. It was the Islanders coming from a 3-0 deficit. 2 goals in the third period, and they have forced overtime here on the island. And as well, those folks on the TSN network in Canada that were tuning into that Buffalo-Boston game won by the Sabres, we welcome you too. So we've got the entire TSN and ESPN network here, Craig.
It's a tremendous hockey game. This game is unbelievable. Once again in OT, Uwe Krupp off in the penalty box. He nailed Pat Ellinuck trying to get at Glenn Healy. Both teams crowding the goalies very much here in OT. The 2 best chances, the breakaway by Benoit Hogue for the Islanders. A couple of minutes into the OT, denied by Tabaracci, and then Dale Hunter's play on Healy. He fanned on the shot. Those the 2 best scoring chances.
All right, for a quick recap, Caps led 3-0 in this hockey game. Al Iafrate, 2 goals. Caps scoring 2 on the power play. 1 power play marker by Ridley, led 3-0. Iafrate fires a shot high over top of the net. Comes to the left point. Iafrate once again. Knocked down by Malakov. Islanders with 2 late third period goals to tie it and send this one into overtime. Third straight game, Turgeon with a shot, and Tabaracci got a glove on it, but it was called on the offside.
And it was called on the offside as Fitzgerald knocked over Cote, and the referee isn't going to call Fitzgerald for an interference minor, but Fitzgerald trying to take off the Capitals, trying to take off one of their top 4 defensemen, but he nailed Cote, and that's why the offside call was made by the linesman. Fitzgerald, a grinder and a banger, is trying to do his best to propel the Islanders into a win, and this is what Al Iafrate's all about. He's got to come through for them. By shooting the puck, he's going to log a ton of ice time in OT.
Well, he has certainly improved with each game in this playoff series. He said this afternoon before today's hockey game that he needed to get on the scoreboard. The Caps, of course, set an NHL record for goals by a defense as a group. And Al Iafrate, one of 3 Capitals to score more than 20 goals. King for Pilon. 9-10 left in the first overtime. Kasparaitis near side. Sends it ahead where it's knocked down by Derek King. He and Turgeon tried to gain the offensive zone. Cote keeps it in neutral ice. Kelly Miller carries it back inside his own zone. Gives it to Ridley. 8:56 left. Cote, Miller. Across the line. Johansson with a shot. High on the stick side. And here's a break for Derek King down the right wing. King picks up the puck, works on Cote, over top of the net on the blocker pad side of Tabaracci. Cote turning away from Malakov in deep for the Islanders. Cote, Pavanka lets it go to Bondra. Pavanka and Bondra, 2 players the Caps need to score. Across the line, Bondra with a shot, deflected wide to Healy. Pavanka there, centers it in front, comes back to Hatcher right point, fakes the shot, moves around Hogue behind the net. Pavanka couldn't get a stick on it, played by Patrick Flatley, who has scored the equalizer here to send it into overtime. There's a shot by Johansson that's loved by Glenn Healy and left for Malakov. 8:08 left, first overtime, 3-3 on the board. Malakov for Travis Green. Green from the right circle, deflected wide. Dale Hunter picks it up at the side of the Capitals net. Lead pass behind Bondra, who heads off. Kerber playing in his first game of the series to give the Islanders a little added presence on the power play. Up to the Washington end. 7:43 left. Hatcher for Cavallini. All Cavallini down the left wing. Across the line. Cavallini jumping up from the play. Caps defenseman now looks to one-handed in front. And it's cleared away by Krivers. Ellinuck shovels behind the net. Comes to Dale Hunter. Hunter held up by Pilon. Mullen to help out the Islander defenseman. Kristich tries to dig free for Washington. Pile up there, Hunter all over Kristich. Moved by Mullen for Delgarno. Delgarno trying to get it away from Cote. Here's a break for Travis Green. Green down the left wing. Works on Cavallini. Blocker save by Tabaracci. In front again. Knocked down by Mellon from a sharp angle, but wide. Cote hammers his man along the boards. Delgarno hit by Cote. They battle along the wall. Travis Green tries to outrace Paul Cavallini, but Cavallini makes the play for the Capitals. 6:52 left, first overtime. Pat Elenick away down the left wing. Elenick across the line, drops it there for Kristich, left circle. Kristich pulls up, looks in front, Pawaka, and he couldn't get a stick on it. Turgeon out of the zone, dumped to neutral ice. Both these teams showing some signs of being tired, Greg. Third straight overtime game.
Yeah, the fatigue's setting in right now, and both teams really playing the puck down low, and playing the puck low takes a lot of energy out of you. You see a lot of clutching and grabbing, a lot of work along the boards, and that just wears on you as a winger and as a defenseman.
Icing called against the Capitals, and the face-off back in the Washington zone with 6 minutes and 16 seconds left in the first overtime.
I'm Jack Edwards at ESPN's National Hockey Night, and if you were expecting to see baseball tonight, well, we've got great hockey action going sudden death for you. We've already seen the Bruins eliminated by the Buffalo Sabres on Brad May's overtime goal, swept out 4-0. Let's send it back to the island for the Caps and the Isles, Jeff Rimmer and Craig Laughlin.
His team was not expected to make the playoffs.
No, he's very proud of this team and the job he's done. They brought in some quality players last year. Turgeon's fit in just fine in their estimation, along with a lot of other guys. I mean, Uwe Krug's been a big addition. Benoit Holt, Steve Thomas, I think, is one of those trades that really goes unnoticed because they were both made on that same day, and everybody says, oh, we get Pierre Turgeon, but Steve Thomas has been a real workhorse for them all year long.
Excellent point. Certainly a lot of the credit for this Islander hockey team goes to Bill Torrey, who this week was named the club president of the Florida Panthers, one of 2 new National Hockey League expansion teams. In fact, it was Bill Torrey last year that made the 2 trades that brought Turgeon here. Dealt away a talented player in Pat LaFontaine, but certainly brought players to this Islander hockey club that wanted to play for the New York Islanders. You mentioned Steve Thomas, a player that plays with grit, has scoring ability. Bill Torrey, who will start a new franchise with Bob Clark, certainly left his mark on the New York Islanders through his long and successful career here on the island. Maskey off the boards. Neutral ice played by Kevin Hatcher, driven back in. Healy will tee it up there for the defenseman Vasky. 5:47 left in overtime. Vasky in front of his own net. Leads the Islander attack with a lead pass for Loisel. Fitzgerald darts down the right side. Tabaracci will tee it up for the Capitals. They get their wires crossed. Tabaracci goes down, and he'll hold on. With Tabaracci out of the net, the referees in this series have made him fair game.
Tabaracci out to stop the puck, and then he gets in a little bit of a tie-up in his feet there. He's a goaltender that likes to handle the puck, likes to shoot the puck out to help his defenseman, and here it is, trying to work against both Ferraro and Fitzgerald. And he gloves the puck behind the cage. The face-off comes to the left of him. But there's the dump, and you're going to see a lot of that from the Islanders, especially the plugging lines. The Turgeon line, not a line that likes to dump it in like that. But this line out there, the reason they've scored a couple of goals, big goals, especially Ferraro, because of the dump-ins.
Rick Tabaracci, outstanding throughout this series, especially sharp in the first period when the New York Islanders certainly carried the play to the Washington Capitals. Maybe a bit of a lapse in the third period, a couple of soft goals. And you see how well he has played in this series. We're now into overtime with 5:26 left. Dale Hunter for the Capitals. Dishes off for Ridley. To the net goes Krieger. Ridley walks in off the goal post. Hunter is down in the net. And here come the Islanders. 3-on-2. Turgeon dumps to the open corner. Hunter now just making his way out of the Islanders' zone. Turgeon on the half board. In front on the low Thomas. And Tabaracci got the pad on it. Back come the Capitals. Todd Krieger with Kelly Miller darting down the left side. 2-on-2. Miller straddles the line. Now takes the pass on the left wing. Firing it wide. Ridley rolls it in behind the net. Krupp all over Krieger. Asperitis off the boards for Steve Thomas. Great scoring opportunity seconds ago. Only to be denied. The Islanders were by Tabaracci, and offside to call there.
Once again, the team exchanging great scoring chances. The breakaway, the Dale Hunter play earlier in the period, And how about this play by Mike Ridley? Everybody drives to the net. Watch this wrist shot. He beats Kasparaitis. Look at the traffic, and there's the shot. It misses the pipe. It hits Derek King in the bum, and he starts the play up, and it's going to result in a Steve Thomas wide open one-on-one. Where's all the Capitals? They all were in the corner. Steve Thomas trying to go forehand, backhand, forehand, and slide it between the 5-hole. Tabaracci making a beauty of a save. It just deflects by. A little bit of luck in that play. Steve Thomas shaking his head at the Islander bench.
He leads all players coming into tonight's game, plus-minus of +6, 2 goals, 3 assists, 5 points. He's been kept off the score sheet tonight. This is Kristich in over the line. Pilon holds him up. Puck slid into the corner. Hellenic out muscles Kurvers for the puck. Comes to the side and bowling into Glenn Healy was Dale Hunter. Who else? And quite a scrum there behind the Islander net. Healy asking Gregson what has to happen to see a penalty called here.
The Capitals doing a good job crowding the net. Gregson's not going to call anything. And you mentioned, look who's right in the middle of things. A little bit of a smirk there. He bowled over the goalie, Glenn Healy. And we talked to Glenn Healy this morning. He says, yeah, I'm being crowded. It's part of the game. This is the type of game we're facing here against the Capitals team. There's the hard hit. Kurvers along with Hellenic, and watch Kristich try to get it out in front. And Ferraro takes Hunter into the goal. And Hunter says, well, if I'm there, I might as well clean out the goaltender. He does. And the whistle goes, forcing the face-off.
A must-win for the Washington Capitals tonight. They do not want to go home trailing the New York Islanders after a 3rd straight overtime loss. 2-1, Islanders leading in the series. This very important 4th game for Washington. Dale Hunter wearing a flak jacket there underneath his hockey pants. And he is certainly the inspirational leader of this hockey club. 5 goals in the series, including a hat-trick. 3 power play goals, also tops amongst players in these playoffs going into tonight's action.
He just personifies a player that will win at all counts. Anything goes as long as he wins, and there he's trying to do something to stir the pot. Had Healy ended up in the net, you never know. The puck might have rolled out.
4:21 left to go. First overtime. Vaski from Malikov. They failed to click. Benoit Hogue will try to clear, and unable to do so as Pavanka keeps it in. This time Hogue will just carry it out himself. On the wing for Malikov. Malikov dumps into the Washington end. Tabaracci has to trap it. Away from Patrick Flatley. Hold a hit on the left wing for Iafrate out of the zone. Here's Pavanka with Bondra. Pavanka to Bondra. Wrist shot saved by Glenn Healy. In front, Pavanka can't get a stick on it. Malikov for Ferraro. It's a 3-on-2. Ray Ferraro across the line. Here's the pass for Flatley. He can't get a stick on it. Flatley out of the corner. Wheels around. Malikov at the point. Dumps in behind the net. Ferraro, who's raked along the wall there by Cavallini. Patrick Flatley digs it free with some hustle. He is bumped by Carpenter. Flatley tried to center it. Cavallini for Washington to skate it out of the zone. Here's Paul Cavallini. The pass for Pavanka just fails to click. Kasparaitis head for Patrick Flatley. Flatley to Turgeon with Hogue. Turgeon across the line. On the left wing, left circle. Turgeon with a shot. Tabaracci juggles it. Benoit Hogue and Tabaracci down will cover up.
Sneaky Pete, very sneaky with the puck as he crossed the blue line, trying to hit Benoit Hogue. Benoit Hogue, one of the flying forwards that this Islander team has. And here's a nice play. Watch him look for Benoit Hogue. There he shoots the puck. The puck bounces up in the air. You even see Benoit Hogue just trying to push the goaltender, trying to notch that puck out of his glove. But Turgeon and company putting some pressure on Tabaracci. Tabaracci, fine performance in goal for the Caps.
On the shot clock, Washington out shooting the Islanders here in overtime, 7-6. The Islanders with the margin overall, 39-37. Face-off to the left of Tabaracci. Travis Green, Dale Hunter for the draw. Shot by Uwe Krupp, knocked down by the Capitals' Ridley. Head here for Hatcher with Kelly Miller. Caps team captain in across the line. Hatcher on the left wing, turns away along the board. Up there by Uwe Krupp. Kelly Miller tries to get a stick on it behind the net, but it's Kasparaitis. A quick feed for Travis Green. Green looking for Krupp. taking some liberties tonight by jumping up in the play as he has here through most of the third period and overtime. Allie Johansson behind Tabaracci. 2:39 left to go, first overtime. Pass for Kelly Miller. Looking for Krieger, and Healy. Pilon to Delgarno, trying to catch the Caps on a line change. Here's Cote jumping up in the play. Cote backhands towards the net. Healy sweeps it away. Travis Green chased by Keith Jones. Jones along the boards trying to get away from Green, who has the second goal in this Islander comeback. Around on the boards, Iafrate hammers one, knocked down by Tom Curvers. This is Delgarno. Delgarno at center. Driving it in, blocker pad save made by Tabaracci. Neutralized, Kristich tries to control the bouncing puck. In across the line, Kristich tries to get around. Vasky, backhand shot. Hunter can't get the rebound. Iafrate off the point. Chopped behind the net for Kristich. Thrown in front. Comes to Derek King. King away for the Islanders. Long left wing pass to Turgeon off Cote. Turgeon pulls up. Backhands for Thomas in the corner. Tries to get away from Iafrate, who draped him along the wall. A minute 36 left in the first overtime. Here's Hunter with Keith Jones on the left wing. Hunter waits as Cote jumps up in the play. 3-on-2. Cote between the circles to Hunter. Hunter throwing it in front, but knocking it away was Malakoff, and alertly so. Kristich for Hunter. Dale Hunter behind the net. Overskates the puck. Thomas and Kristich bump. Malakoff for the Islanders. 1:15 in overtime. Lubbers the puck up. Here's a pass for Thomas. Squeezed out by Hatcher, and Pavanka looks for the penalty. Crowd also looking for Gregson to make a call, to no avail. Johansson drives it in. Picked up by Pavanka. To the net, deflected wide. Less than a minute to go, first overtime. Allie Johansson sends it into the corner. Flatley there to move it along for Ferraro. To Benoit Hogue. He had a breakaway earlier. Tries to get around. Kevin Hatcher, the backhand shot. Denied by Tabaracci. Bondra and Ferraro bump. Along the far board, this is Ferraro trying to come out of the corner. Final seconds tick off in the first OT. Flatley, Ferraro in front, big save, Tabaracci. Very sharp has been the Caps goaltender here in overtime. Malakoff rolling it down into the Capitals' end as the final seconds tick off.
This is their bread and butter line out there for the Islanders. This Ferraro line just going wild in overtime here, getting some great chance just through hard work. Ferraro point blank against Tabaracci. Tabaracci once again coming up with a fine stop.
Malakoff all over Todd Krieger. This one will go to 2 overtimes as Malakoff gets 2 shots to the face of Todd Krieger. A scrum behind the net. Malakoff now getting a couple of shots at Iafrate. And Terry Gregson will sort this one out as the two teams will head off for yet another 15-minute intermission and a second overtime in this, the third straight.
All right, boys, head back to the rooms and cool off. Get ready for that second overtime. You will not miss a second of sudden death action as ESPN's National Hockey Night bonus coverage continues. The results from tonight that are already in. The Bruins are out of it. Buffalo's Brad May scores in overtime, and the Bruins become the first 50-win team to be swept out in the first round of the playoffs in that season. And also, Montreal beats Quebec 3-2, and that evens that series at 2 games apiece. We will be back for the second overtime of the Capitals and Islanders. Chris
Series, the Pens have no intention of letting New Jersey gain any momentum. That game was moved from tonight to tomorrow at 1:10 to accommodate national television. The Pens may have to wait a while to see who they play. A wild game between the Caps and Islanders up on Long Island. Washington jumped out to an early 2-0 lead on this Mike Wrigley goal and a pass from Peter Bondra. The Caps led 3-0 in the second period when Vladimir Malakoff scored for the Islanders on that wrist shot from behind the right circle, making it 3-1. Then when Patrick Flatley scored on this rebound of a Pierre Turgeon shot, New York tied it at 3 and forced overtime. They are now going into a second overtime, which should start shortly. In Buffalo, the Bruins are trying desperately to stay alive against the Sabres. It was tied 1-1 in the first period, with Adam Oates on a power play making a sweet pass to Joe Junot for a goal. Boston leads 2-1. Still in the first, Oates here with a nice pass through 3 defenders to Stephen Leach in the slot. Boston takes a 4-2 lead. But Buffalo fights back late in the third period. Yuri Hemilev one-times a pass to Dale Howardchuk to tie it at 5 and force overtime. Then 4 minutes into OT, Brad May makes this great move on Ray Bork, then Andy Moog to give the Sabres a 6-5 overtime victory. Buffalo sweeps 4 straight. In other hockey action, it's Montreal edging Quebec 3-2. That series is now tied at 2-2. Still a coach
4 tomorrow at Brendan Byrne Arena in New Jersey. The Pens have a chance to complete a 4-game sweep. If they can do that, they'll have a whole week off before starting the second round. ABC and Channel 4 will carry it live tomorrow at 1. Before that, a half hour before the game to be exact, join us for another half-hour special, Road to the Cup. Bill Hillgrove, Tony Zarella, and yours truly will take you right up until game time, all starting tomorrow at 12:30. Stanley Cup playoffs tonight, some good ones. 6-5, Buffalo eliminates Boston. Final in overtime. The Sabres win it all. Alexander McGillney rips a slap shot past Andy Moog. It's 5-4 Bruins. 90 seconds later, Himilev ties the game at 5-5. Regulation ends 5-5, so we're into overtime. In overtime, Pat LaFontaine, great lead pass to set up the winner. Brad May, his first goal of the playoffs. Moog is just out of position on that goal. The Sabres win at 6-5. They take the best of 7, 4 games to none. And they're dancing in the streets in Buffalo. In overtime now, actually going to the second overtime, Washington and the Islanders tied at 3. Islanders begin the night leading the series 2-1. Montreal 3-2 over Quebec. Series is tied 2-2. Tomorrow is the annual NFL draft.
Project the players that teams thought would be there, all of a sudden may be off the board. And then you may have a run on those 3 defensive linemen.
Yeah, 3 defensive linemen, 2 offensive linemen, and we're also talking Hurst. We're also talking a couple other players. Now, the other position that we say may change things around is number 11, the Cleveland Browns, because the next group of players, a lot of people want to get up there to take maybe a Bettis, maybe a Bates, the safety, maybe a wide receiver. Cleveland talking going down, aren't they?
Cleveland has some players in mind, but if they're not there, they move down. And as you mentioned, Chris, those players that you talked about, a Patrick Bates, defensive back from Texas A&M, a Jerome Bettis, fullback from Notre Dame, and the 2 wide receivers, Curtis Conway, USC, Sean Dawkins, California, are players that teams are looking in that middle of the first round to move up to acquire. And Cleveland could be in a position to deal down.
There are 29 first-round picks this year because of the 2 compensations.
Into the first overtime between the Caps and Isles, but stay with us, of course.
In the history of the National Hockey League, the Islanders have won the previous 2. The Capitals, who at one time in this hockey game led 3-0, took a 3-1 lead into the 12-minute mark of the third period, only to see the Islanders fight back again, and it was Patrick Flatley with a game-tying goal, forcing overtime for the second straight game here on the island. And as we see Patrick Flatley, certainly a big story for the Islanders in this series. A abrasion to the cornea, and that's why he's wearing that facial mask. He begged the doctors to come back in game 3, set up the tying and winning goals in game 3, comes back tonight to knot the series, or not the hockey game, late in the third period, his first of the playoffs.
Both teams are going to play 4-on-4 here to start this second OT. Malakoff for the Islanders and Iafrate for the Capitals in the box at the end of that first overtime stanza, both for roughing 4-on-4 hockey.
Kelly Johansson, Kelly Miller slid into the Islander end. Kasparaitis for the Islanders, away from Ridley. Comes behind the net. Louis Krupp. Krupp for the Islanders. Kasparaitis trying to deal it ahead for Turgeon. Ridley sending him to the ice. The neutral ice now. This is Johansson away from Turgeon. This rolls it in. Teams playing 4-on-4 due to the penalties to Iafrate and Malakoff. The 20-minute mark. An offside call there. Turgeon ahead of the puck carrier in the offside call.
Here we see the Gunners matched against the Gunners. 2 guys that have to get on track for the Capitals, Pavanka and Bondra. Bondra getting lots of shots in this game. Bondra so far through these periods, 6 shots on net. Turgeon, the Gunner for the Islanders, playing along. with his favorite forward, Derek King, as we get a look at Malakoff in the penalty box and Iafrate, coincidental minor penalties. That's why the teams are playing 4-on-4.
Both teams had 8 shots on goal in overtime. Presently 41-38. The shots on goal favor the New York Islanders. Michael Pivonka and Patrick Flatley, team captain, who surprised his mates with his return on Thursday night in Game 3, again against the doctor's wishes. And he's back in there tonight after being flat on his back with his eye patched for the last 2 days. Cavallini, one hands ahead for Peter Bondra at center. Bondra, who needs a goal, rips it in, only to be gloved by Glenn Healy. Off the boards, Cote chops at it, only to see it hit the stick of Benoit Hogue. Flatley fakes the shot, tries to go around Cavallini, firing it high off the glass. Left wing, Benoit Hogue, turned aside by Tabaracci. Backhanded for Hogue again. His shot through traffic, blocked by the Caps' Pivonka. In neutral ice now, Vasquez slides it across for Pilon. Pilon dumps in. Made by Tabaracci off the boards. Flatley goes after it, gets it. Looks down low for Benoit Hogue from a sharp angle. And Tabaracci had to come up with a save on the short side. Bondra in his own zone. Caps' leading scorer during the regular season, looking for his first of the playoffs. And Healy. Eric King for Tom Kurvers, playing his first game to upgrade the power play. This is King, across the line, works on Hatcher. Behind the net, Todd Krieger tries to play it. Worked by Turgeon along the wall, and it's Johansson down the right wing. Johansson backpedals, and it's Todd Krieger across the line. Krieger looks in front for Carpenter. Comes! Here's a shot wide by Kelly Johansson. Carpenter throws it in front again. Krieger tied up. Set to the ice by Kurvers. Here come the Islanders. 3-on-2. Malakoff for Turgeon with a weak crook shot. Tabaracci juggles it. The rebound swept away. Malakoff into the Washington zone. Played by Dale Hunter. Teams playing 5-on-5. Malakoff cross ice. Jumping up here is Kasparaitis. First across the line with Mullen. Winds up with a shot. Pad save by Tabaracci. This is Christus, chased by Mullen. Pick set by Cote. Dale Hunter for Washington. Far and away the best chance for Washington in overtime for Dale Hunter. At point-blank range, the puck rolled off his stick.
Everybody on the bench now, I'm sure, for both teams, looking to be the hero to finish this. Benoit Hogue and Flatley teaming up in the 4-on-4 with the best chance so far for the Islanders in this second overtime period. The team's a little bit defensive once again, standing back on their heels. Their defensemen, I don't think you're going to see as active. They don't want to get burned pinching in and allow those odd man rushes.
Near side, Jones. Mike Ridley. Ridley shovels it ahead for Iafrate. He's got a pair of goals. Dish gets by the Islander defenseman Pilon, but couldn't get a shot away. Islanders roll it to neutral ice. This is Cavallini jumping up in the play. Islanders in a line change. Flatley jumping. The Caps defenseman Cavallini, who just shovels it ahead here to Randy Burridge. Burridge at the side of the net, rocks in front. Healy juggling it, and Burridge unable to complete. Here comes Benoit Hogue across the line. Works on Johansson. Hogue will try to go in front. Circles the net. Thrown in front, and the Caps do a job defensively in front of Tabaracci. Washington back. Jones with Burridge. Backhanded by Benoit Hogue back at the neutral ice. Caps control, Mike Ridley. Away from Flatley of the Islanders. Rolled into the Capital zone. Kevin Hatcher. Away from Ferraro. Across the line. White circle. Sends it in. Gloved by Healy. And he'll hold on with Pivonka and Carpenter standing on the doorstep.
Well, some of the forwards, I'm sure, and the D feeling the fatigue factor, especially Kevin Hatcher. He's going to play at least half of this hockey game and has already. We're going to go with 4D. Hatcher going to log a lot of ice time. You see the fatigue setting in on the forward line. A line that we haven't saw a whole lot of. Got a shift out there. Randy Burridge and Keith Jones, who've only played a couple of shifts, got a good chance to play. And here's the play down to Burridge. Good work along the wall, and he tries to stuff it. The importance of going to the net. He's all tied up by Pilon, but look where the puck is. It just bounces away, but that's the type of goal that's going to win it in overtime. A play like that isn't a tic-tac-toe play, but one that simply puts the puck at the net.
Well, the records continue to fall between these two teams in Stanley Cup playoff action. This is the 9th period of overtime in the last 5 games that these two teams have played. Remember, New York Islanders won game 2 in double overtime. Turgeon with a shot blocked by Kelly Johansson. It's Michael Pivonka. Opposite for Carpenter. Poked off his stick. Thatcher jumping up into play. Sends it in. Behind the net, Malakoff. 15:26 left in the second overtime. Turgeon. Down by Iafrate. Has a pair of goals for the Caps. Walks in across the line. Gets around one of the Islander defensemen, Vasky, but then it's cleared by the other, Malakoff. Abarachi out of the net. Abarachi moves it off the boards away from Derek King. Bondra backhands right to Steve Thomas, who finds King. King and Turgeon across the line. Shot by King off the skate there of Cote. The two go to the corner behind the net. Turgeon setting up shot. Thrown in front. Abarachi will cover up with a couple of the Islanders. Thomas and King awaiting the puck from Turgeon.
You're not going to see a nicer play than the one made by Pierre Turgeon behind the net. It's the old net play. Bobby Orr made it famous. There it is, off the back of the net. He comes around and look, he's looking for King. Good play by Abarachi, getting that stick down, not allowing that pass to come out. A lot of goaltenders wouldn't have done that, and it would have cost him. But Abarachi knows that Sneaky Pete's going to try to wrap one out to his favorite winger, Derek King, who was right there to swat it home, but he's denied. Good play by Abarachi.
New York Islanders have won the previous 2 overtime games to take the 2-1 series lead. Here in game 3 on the island, Ray Ferraro from Hogan Flatley at 4:41. And of course, it was double overtime with the Islanders winning. Mullen getting credit for the goal, although it certainly looked like Ferraro scored in game 2. Wrigley across the line, drops it for Krieger, and it's called on the offside.
Good back checking there by the Islanders. It's a 3-on-3. Fitzgerald just grabbing Kelly Miller. Kelly Miller can't hang on to the blue line. That's why the offside was called. They're going to see a lot of that as a forward. You're going to always see a line of players back of the wall. They're going to try to only forecheck a 1-2-2 system. And there's Patrick Flatley with that new visor, getting a breather at the Islander bench.
14 minutes and 40 seconds left in double overtime. The second overtime period, we're knotted at 3. Bondra wins the draw. Rather, Pivonka wins the draw, and it's sent in by Keith Jones. Pivonka out there with Burridge and Jones. Burridge and Jones saw very little action during regulation time, and I suspect we'll see a lot of them here in overtime. Here's a break. Loiselle, Ferraro, front, scores! The New York Islanders, for the 3rd straight game, win in overtime. This one coming at 5:40 of double overtime. Amazingly, this Islander hockey club now sport an overtime record of 28 wins and only 7 losses in 35 overtime games. The Islanders leave the ice with a commanding lead in this best-of-7 Patrick Division semifinal series, leading 3-1.
And once again, it's Ray Ferraro. There's the play around the zone, and watch the breakout here. It's a simple play up the wall. Randy Burge can't get to it, and now watch the Islanders break out. Fitzgerald holding to the puck. Now they've created a 2-on-1, and Ferraro just drives to the net, gets a nice pass from Loiselle. Paul Cavallini cannot collect them, and they beat Abarachi 5-0 once again. Ray Ferraro, the hero, here on the island.
Well, we've seen 2 games end in